But first, food's expected to take up a bigger share of household budgets next year, and that's according to a new report released this morning. CTV's Camille Karamali joins us with more on the food price report. Camille, how much are food prices expected to increase for the average family of four next year?
Hey, Nathan, the average Canadian family will have to pay nearly $8,000 more for food in 2026. That's according to the food report released this morning. And that would bump up the average family of four's allocation for their budget towards food or their overall food expenditure up to over $17,000. So you can see the numbers here. The average family of four will have to pay $994 more in 2026 compared to 2025 for food, and that the total predicted food expenditure will go up to $17,571. That is according to Canada's food price report released this morning. And the biggest increase is expected to be seen in meat. We can see the breakdown here on the next graphic board. Meat is set to increase anywhere from 5 to 7% next year. You can see that circle in the top right of your screen. And meat already saw a 7.2% increase in 2025. So yet another 5 to 7% increase expected in 2026. Other items and food groups set to increase are restaurants, also expected to see anywhere from a 4 to 6% increase. One of the reasons is that Canadians are consuming less alcohol, so restaurants are being forced to increase menu prices to cover that loss of income. And vegetables also set to increase anywhere from 3 to 5%. So you see the number at the bottom of your screen here. The total increase, Nathan and Michelle, in food prices up 4 to 6% in 2026. So if you are budgeting for next year, if you're an average household of four people, you might have to stretch yourself a little bit thinner to afford food and groceries for next year.
Very significant. Are there any other factors at play when you look at these prices increasing so much?
Yeah, obviously, we've heard it time and time again. The trade war, Nathan, playing a big role. But now that the tariffs have decreased a little bit and we aren't seeing as many tariffs, companies are still reaching to Asian production companies and European sources for a lot of these food items. And that is taking some time and extra resources. So you're seeing some of those costs reflected in the food prices as well as climate change. You know, we've seen a decrease in the number of cattle that is available, and that is because the number of food for cows is also decreasing because of droughts and floods as well. And that is all having an impact on food banks and those who can barely make ends meet as well. Have a listen to what the Daily Bread Food Bank from Toronto had to say.
When they make those decisions to have to come to the food bank, that's going to increase our client volume yet again in 2026, and it'll increase our cost to be able to serve those clients. You know, just at the beginning of the pandemic, we were spending about $1.5 million a year to be able to feed the city of Toronto, just in terms of our food costs. That number now, $22 million per year.
And already hearing from places like the Daily Bread Food Bank that they will be limiting or seeing a decrease in the number of meat that gets donated, but also families who are feeling stretched thin, Nathan and Michelle, cutting back on meats already this year and possibly for next year. Back over to you.
A lot of concern. CTV's Camille Karamali in the CTV National Newsroom. Thank you.
Anytime.